Presented by PrizePicks. Get $50 instantly when you play $5 with the promo code. Welcome to LIGHTYEARS. You know what? You know what's great about PrizePicks also right now, Andy? We're in the best sports month of the year.
Yes,
like we're recording this before Friday night's game, but you also have Game 5, Padres, Dodgers. The baseball playoffs been fucking awesome. I'm gonna have to play for another Tatis home run tonight. I need to put it out into the universe, and I want to make a little money off of it when I do it too. So I don't know. There's not a better time to play PrizePicks than right now, just because you got everything. You got NFL, you got MLB playoffs, you got NBA preseason. We're 11 days away from the regular season. You got endless options. Your Sharkies, you see Draymond and Looney at the Sharks game last night. I mean, you got it all. You got it all. Yeah.
Big Mac. I might be a Sharkies fan. I haven't been a Sharkies fan since middle school, high school, so I might run it back. But it's got everything, dude. Friday night, Saturday, you got college football. Don't forget that. So, what's the promo code? Promo code's LIGHTYEARS. That's it, dude. That's it. Easy. Come on, promo code LIGHTYEARS.
Easy. No spaces, no slashes. You guys know the deal. Yeah, man. We're sneakily like close to the season starting, and it's different to not know who the starting lineup is going to be. They played two different starting lineups through the first two games. I would expect Steve to tinker with the starting lineup at least the next two games too. Maybe not as much as he has, but maybe he tries Podz and Trayce together instead of Melton and Trayce and Podz and Looney. I don't know. I expect him to mess around with it. He's been pretty honest about we got to figure out which combinations work. And honestly, that's kind of what this roster is, right?
I was going to say I kind of feel bad for him on one hand. I mean, I don't really feel bad for Steve Kerr. He lives a pretty great life. But I feel bad that he definitely how many coaches in the NBA don't have an automatic starting five that they go with that are like trying to win basketball games? Right? I guess if you're the Detroit Pistons, like whatever, you're going to change shit up every week, right? Every game. But with the Warriors, a team that I think we could argue like solid 45 wins for sure. Let's see if they can get to 50. And we don't know who their starting lineup is. I think it's fascinating. I feel bad for Steve, but hey, he's also paid, $55 million a year. So you got to figure this shit out. But it's the good thing is though, Sam, like a lot of these dudes, I think the majority of these dudes are just good basketball players. So it's not like he has he's not like he can't make a wrong choice, but like these guys are all good. You can make an argument they all could be starters.
And we talked about in the last episode of Tommy because there were some pointed quotes, and we'll get into it. But this is also where removing Clay kind of helps, because Clay was never going to be cool with like being treated like Buddy Hield or like Podz, where he's in and out that way. And it's cleaner. Like the offense revolves around Steph, the defense revolves around Draymond. Everyone else is a chess piece around those two. And we'll see where it lands. Like I'm still skeptical they have enough offense. I actually watching through the first two games, I'm not ready to say it's going to be a top 5 defense, but they have the ability to be a very, very good defense, especially if Draymond's this locked in. And Looney looks like he looks good. He looks in shape. He looks skinnier than he did last year. So I'm betting on a little bit of a bounce back from Loon. Obviously, Wiggins is a big part of the defense, and he's not playing right now. But I wouldn't sleep on this team being well above average on defense, and we'll see on offense.
Yeah, the first game, I was like, okay, this defense is going to be really good. The second game, we'll see. I mean, the Kings are a really good offense. They got a lot of good players, a lot of shooters. So it's really hard to be like, oh, you're going to lock that stuff down. Again, like you're saying, Wiggins is out too. He's their best perimeter guy. I think a lot of this goes back to what you're saying, though. Like right off the bat, is just a lot of the, hey, is the offense going to be good or is the defense going to be good, is literally just predicated on who are the guys that are what is the lineup construction? What is the 5? Because, dude, I'm watching the second unit and we watched it against the Kings. It could be so good, that second unit. And it was Melton, it was Hield, right? Slow-mo was in there. And Podz was in there. You look at that second unit, just like, man, that unit could just crush people. TJD was in there. That's a really good lineup of, all right, you got some really smart vet defenders, and then you got just enough shooting. If Hield gets hot, you're blowing teams off the floor, right? But then you go and you look at that first unit, and all of a sudden you're like, man, is there enough offense? You know what I mean? And then so I think there's it's hard to take a broad brush and be like, all right, this team's going to be really good at defense. I think it's just going to be micro minutes where it's just like 8 minutes to look amazing on defense, and then maybe they don't got the right guys on the court, and all of a sudden that falls apart. But again, it goes back to like, who are you playing?
Yeah, so I mean, I have mixed thoughts on that first preseason Kings game. On the one hand, it was just a lot of DeRozan hitting 18-footers, and like, the Warriors defense, they're always going to be like, look, man, if you want to take 25 of those shots, we'll live with you making half of them. What we're trying not to have is Fox live at the rim or your shooters just get red hot from three, right? So on one hand, it's like that. On the other hand, noticeable having Podz in there instead of Melton. Like, Melton is just a way, way better defender. Might be the best point of attack defender on the team, even with Wiggins, honestly. Wiggins obviously a more versatile defender and could guard bigger wings, but like, Melton's probably better suited to guard De'Aaron Fox.
100%.
That's kind of his thing. So in fact, I would expect Melton to probably start tonight just so they could see the different look against the same team. I thought Podz was going to start before the preseason. And as I watched them more, I think Melton probably will start. I think it probably makes more sense, particularly if his shot stays reliable. Like, they obviously are going to need some shot making around Steph. And so I thought Podz made more sense just because it's such a focus to develop him as a shooter. But I think I put what's the expression? You put the carriage in front of the horse, where it's like, I could see him becoming a good shooter. It might not happen in 3 months over one summer. He's not remarkably better shooter than Melton right now. He might be in 2 years, but not really a better. And so if he's not,
that's right.
If he's not giving you that, if you're not getting that type of advantage from him, go with the all-world defender. Have Draymond at the 4, a center. Melton's going to make the ball handler's life hell. And in theory, Wiggins or Kuminga, but you got your bigger wing there. Like, is that not a really effective defensive lineup? You start with that, and then you come in with the Podz running the second unit. He looked really good playing point guard with the second unit. Get Trayce in pick and rolls, get Buddy moving off ball, kind of exactly what you're saying. Like, to me, it feels like it's trending that direction unless Podz starts shooting the fuck out of the ball, honestly.
Well, I think, by the way, I agree with you. So I'm arguing for the other side's sake, because I think there's a play for Podz is a better decision maker, ball handler than Melton.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that even in his second year, it's just Melton's not a point guard in terms of, hey, can he handle the rock? And they've had him a little bit handling the rock and making some passes, and you're kind of sitting there like, well, it's just he's a good shooter. Let's keep him as a shooter. We don't want him running pick and roll and ISOs, which when he does that, it gets a little ugly. So I think that's the argument. I think the argument is, okay, if you're starting off with Steph, Draymond, Wiggins, and whatever, let's go Looney, and you kind of want Podziemski there as another guy that can handle the ball and make good decisions, get Wiggins shots, right? Get TJD a dunk here or there and not turn the ball over. I think that's the argument. I think that's what Steve Kerr would say, is we want the secondary, maybe even tertiary in this case, ball handler, because Draymond's a second guy, be another good decision maker. And you give up some defense for that. And that's where maybe Looney comes in at the 5.
Yeah.
Now you have Draymond and Looney and stuff. So again, it kind of goes back to like, there's just so many iterations that they can do. But I think there's an argument that Podz could also be the starting 2, but end of the day, yeah, man, if you want your best 4 out there, it'd have to be Steph, Draymond, healthy Wiggins, and then Melton, right? Like, those have to be your 4, and then maybe it's Kuminga or whatever. Maybe it's
preseason stats are what they are, and it is literally 2 games, so who cares? But it is noticeable. Podz has twice as many assists as the next guy while having 2 turnovers, 12 assists, 2 turnovers in 42 minutes. And that's what stands out. Like, he has not scored the ball well. The shot has not come around. It's also, a whopping 17 total shots, right? So it's not like that big a deal at this stage. But to your point, he gets into the lane and he makes good decisions. He doesn't turn the ball over, which is like, I'm not used to that with the Warriors, to be honest with you. I'm not used to having a guy who like is just steady with the ball and makes the safe play, as opposed to like, Draymond and Steph are very good passers, but they make some insane decisions.
Yeah.
So I think it's trending. It makes sense. And then Melton, maybe there's a little more offense there than we're giving him credit for. I kind of think, he probably is what he is. Like we've seen him play, but he's been a guy who's averaged like 10 to 11 points in 25 minutes, which is not nothing. That's kind of been his role. Maybe on the Warriors, he plays a few more minutes. Maybe he gets up to 12 to 15 points, a little more like a KCP, with Denver, where like he's not like the main scorer, but like once every 4 games, he's giving you 20, that sort of thing. Maybe that's kind of how he trends, but he fits the lineup so well. So,
I mean, I think the KCP comp is amazing. Look, before we get to the next one, I think one thing about or the next position up for grabs, I think just one thing I've noticed overarching concerns me is, man, it is a lot of threes that they're throwing up there. I know that's what they talked about and all that stuff, but Sam Slater had a freaking piece on it, like, oh, we're gonna shoot threes. Steve say we're gonna have to shoot threes, and they kind of have to because that's kind of all they got. And I don't know, Sam. It concerns me. We'll track it every week. We'll watch all these games and track it every week. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the 2 big man thing. The issue with the Warriors, which is why they end up taking so many threes, is they play 2 non-floor spacing bigs. Yes, I know Draymond and Kyle Anderson shoot threes, but they don't space the floor, and the bigs that they have are kind of more interested in screening and passing it outside than finishing inside. So if you're going to play 2 bigs who are mostly looking to find guys relocating, as opposed to either creating space for driving lanes or scoring themselves, like everything's going to turn into 3-pointers. I don't really know another way around it. Like the most telling thing for me is they've been playing Kuminga at the 3 because, quite frankly, they have to if they want to play their bigs. And he's taking way too many threes. And
I agree. I agree.
But I don't really know how that changes if you got Looney or Trayce.
Yeah, you're right.
And Draymond in there, like where you want him to get the ball in the mid post, but where does Looney stand if he has the ball there? Like just on the block in front of him? Like it's kind of like it's kind of why I was like, man, even if they got like Kelly Olynyk, who's like not a star or anything, but like if he'll just stand on the 3-point line and his defender will stand with him, then Kuminga could like cook as a 3 a little bit. But I don't know, like the way they're playing right now, it's like Wiggins is going to be set up better because he is more of a 3 and D guy than Kuminga is.
I can't argue with that. That's the thing. Like the lineup construction with the double, triple big, stuff is really, really difficult. It hurts my eyes as a guy that's watched basketball for 25 years since I was a kid. And I don't want to watch Tim Duncan basketball. I don't want to watch mid-range, Kobe style basketball all day. And thank you, Steph. But we are going to watch. This team is going to pull it from 3, Sam. And I would prefer more inside out, but they can't get into the in. They can't go in. They just don't have guys that can get in.
Unless they put Draymond at the 5, and then they can. Yeah. And but then you worry about all the issues that comes with that, which is like he's gonna
rebound.
82 games is a long time to play a 6'5" center. So it is their best lineup. It is objectively their best lineup. It's his best position, but like there's
we haven't
realities.
Even seen it yet, by the way, in the preseason, or if we've seen 0, which is
I don't know if I need to see it. I know what it looks like, and I know Steve's gonna go to it in the real games when he needs to. If he starts starting it all the time in real games, then he just doesn't trust his other players, which is a bigger problem.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It hurts it hurts sometimes to watch it. They made a lot of threes in the second game. They made no threes in the first game. And it's like, is that just going to be how the games are? And that's just how basketball is, right? So maybe that's just how it's going to be. If they shoot 40% from 3, they win. If they shoot under 29% from 3, they lose. Like, is that just what it's going to be? Like, maybe we just turn this into baseball, right? Kind of thing. But
that's kind of what they're going to, that's, unless they make a trade before the start of the season, that's what they're going to look like. It just is, unless they go with the small ball lineup. And maybe their plan is they're going to play 2 bigs, they'll shoot a ton of threes, and then they'll go to the small ball lineup to, close you here and there, and they'll try to effectively pace it. And maybe it works. Maybe it does. I don't know. Like you said, it's like baseball. It's like you got your junk ball pitcher for the first 5-6 innings, and then you bring in guys who throw high heat and hope you can win that way.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on here. I will say, you know who's benefiting from the two bigs as well? Moses Moody, who never gets on the court, but he's textbook made 3-and-D guy for like relocation because he's not trying to get to the rim. Like Kuminga's the odd man out here because they've created a construct where like the things he's good at can't be used. But Moody actually like he just does the same things Wiggins does. He wants to shoot jumpers. He's not like trying to get to the rim particularly, and he'll defend. So, if you're passing it to Looney and he's finding guys relocating, Moody's there. He'll take a shot. He'll make some of them, that sort of thing. So it does. I know Wiggins hasn't played. And sounds like he's sick and whatever, but like if they're going with two bigs, I don't really see how it's a competition between him and Kuminga because he's made to play that 3-and-D role and Kuminga's not, Kuminga's made to play the 3-man if they got like Lowry or like any sort of stretch 5 where he could just, take advantage of the fact that there's no rim protector.
We actually haven't seen Kuminga unleashed yet, and unleashed is not going 4 for 9 from 3, which is what he's gone in the preseason. And I know,
which is great, but like I don't want him taking 7 threes in a game. I want him getting 10 free throw attempts because no one can stay in front of him one-on-one.
Those are like crunch time minutes. That midi that he hit. Kind of like shades of DeMar DeRozan. Like that's what they're gonna need, man. That's what they're gonna need. So I don't know. It's early. It's early. That was one thing that really stuck in my mind. It's gonna stick in my mind until whenever.
Lastly, do you have a strong take on Trayce versus Looney as a starter or going? Well, I know how you feel about going small. Maybe you're crazy, man. Maybe you want to start Kyle Anderson.
Hey, might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. Come playoffs, I tell you, man. But
yeah, they need to love Looney, but they need to give Trayce, and it's not even give. He's earned a lot of minutes. They need to play him as much as he can to figure out how good he can actually be. And this is not saying that Trayce is going to be this amazing player. Look, I'm not going to Jim Park this thing, but it's like. He's a good basketball player. I think he can be a consistently good basketball player. I would prefer to not see him play 8 minutes a game. Hey, we really got to see him play. Can we get his numbers up to 18 to 25 minutes a game? Mm-hmm. And that's all. It's obvious stuff. I don't need to tell people what he's good at. I'd like to see that more. And because it's just a different look for the Warriors. Looney, we know what we can get. It's kind of the same thing with isn't it the same thing with like Kuminga? It's like, look, mm-hmm. If the Warriors, if Steve really wanted to raise the floor of this, like he just wouldn't play Kuminga because that's what he's done. He's not good enough offensively. He doesn't fit as a 3. He doesn't play defense, so I'm going to sit him. Like we've seen it. But for them to hit the ceiling, like you've seen the floor with Looney. We know what the floor is. It's a high floor, but there's no ceiling. So let's just see what you can do with TJD. So that's my take. I need way more Trayce than we've seen so far, and hopefully.
I just need them. I need them to wow us and get a playable stretch 5 before the season starts, so we can get.
It's not happening.
So we can get. You got the Kuminga lineups where he's owning the paint with the stretch 5, and then you got the Trayce lineups where he's playing pick and roll basketball and dunking all over everyone as much as he can. And I can live with that. And I'd love to see what that looks like because I still think Kuminga has the highest upside to be the second scorer on this team, but they've created a roster where the only way that can come out is if they go small. And that's got other issues, that's got other issues if they lean into that. So yeah, I'd like to see that. I think Trayce also makes sense if they start Melton just because Trayce has a little more offense than Looney and you don't have a pure second scorer, but if you got enough guys who can, finish plays, probably get by a little bit. So
it feels like they've got a lot of options. And then at the same time, it's like they don't have enough options, which is the hilarious part. It's like when I was watching Cal play last week, football, and oh God, that was rough. But they threw in like a random second quarterback to run a play. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, y'all are running plays for 2 QBs. And shocker, it didn't work. They brought it. The one quarterback was hot. They brought in a second quarterback, made some plays, brought in the other quarterback, completely cold. No idea what he was doing out there. They lost the game. It's always what it is, right? It's like if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. If you have three closers in baseball, you don't got a closer. You don't. You can't mix and match this shit. Some of this stuff. And so with the Warriors, it's if you've got like 10 rotation guys, 8 guys who can start, like you don't have like a set start. You just don't have the perfect closing lineup, which they don't. But I guess to answer a question, I guess it's like if you had a choice, would you rather watch TJD play 25, 28 minutes a game or Looney? I don't think it's close.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
okay.
Light Years Podcast. We are brought to you by PrizePicks. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Use our promo code LIGHTYEARS. PrizePicks, best way to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to $100, 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. So look, if you think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards this weekend, go ahead and run with that. Jordan Mason yesterday had if you think you could run more than, I think it was 79.5 yards, it would have gotten pretty unlucky. I think he hit like right under that before he got hurt. But what you can do is you cook up all hot takes with your friends, win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. If you want to play PrizePicks alongside Drewski, Joe Budden, MMA champ Sean O'Malley, you can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in your PrizePicks community each week. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. PrizePicks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. So listen, sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's it. You don't even need to win. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Play $5. You get instant 50 with the promo code LIGHTYEARS. I was just about to say, I just put my lineup in right now while you're doing that read. And maybe I'm about to jinx this, but I got to play this Padres-Dodgers game. Anyone who's been following me knows I'm very in on this Padres team this year. I'm in on you, Darvish. That's my guy. Easily the most successful Persian athlete in America. So now that
people don't know that.
Now that David Bakhtiari retired, it's you and nothing. And Yamamoto kind of has a Kershaw vibe to him. Not gonna lie.
Oh,
I'm just gonna call it out. Just gonna call it out right now. Well, I expect the complete opposite will happen now, and this is just gonna get trolled. But all I'm saying is, look, man, neither of these are my team, but I'm having some fun with this series. So everyone, get on PrizePicks, promo code LIGHTYEARS.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it.
Dude, I love a good elimination game. There's nothing like it. You know what I mean? There's just nothing like it. And
would you rank the sports?
I think
elimination.
It completely depends on the teams and there's bad blood with this Padres-Dodgers series. They've played before. That's making it worth a little more. That's making it feel a little different. Would I feel this way about a Yankees Royals game 5? Probably not. I could care less. So it's probably because of that. But let's get back to basketball.
Okay.
Our guy Andy Bailey threw out this tweet, and it actually got me curious because we'll get into this stuff next week, but our thoughts on the league as a whole. He goes, name an NBA team that'll be worse than everybody thinks it'll be. I think it's a fun topic, so I'll let you kick it off.
Well, the Lakers are an easy one, I think, just because it's the Lakers. Everyone's
projecting them to be playing 45 wins. Are you saying they'll be? That's what the Vegas odds are. Look, they get covered like they're a contender because of the brand. but all the projections have them at like same as they were last year. Do you think they'll actually be worse than that?
I think that's where they'll be. I think people think they'll be more than that. But I was throwing out there as like an easy pick. I got one for you. Because if people say there's like 2 or 3 true contenders in the West, it's Oklahoma City, right? It's Minnesota and it's Denver, right? Those are the top 3. Is there any other ones in the West that you think that are in that range?
Dallas is definitely considered a contender. They went to the finals last year. They upgraded their talent. I mean, they made it was like, obviously we know they got Clay, but like they also got Najee Marshall. Who else they add? Quentin Grimes. Like they got a nice little team there. I definitely think so those are the 4 that I think those are the ones I'm seeing, like all the projections, like they're going to win the West. One of these 4.
Yeah, 4. Maybe the Nuggets are the 4th, actually, now that you don't Dallas. But here's what I think would be worse. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves would be worse. I think it's the obvious part is like, well, they traded Cat away. And I think there's been a little bit of like pivot where it's like, well, Julius Randle is like actually a better fit next to Gobert, and they've added Dante DiVincenzo, who's an elite role player, and this and that and this and that. And Sam, I don't see it with Minnesota. I don't. Is Randle going to stay healthy? Is he actually a good fit? He's not been a guy that really likes to play defense. With Cat, at least he tried to play defense. So you got another guy who's a ball hogger, can't shoot, can't stay healthy next to him. And then Rudy Gobert, he had a decent season last year. Is he going to have another great one? And then Dante's fine as a good role player. But really the big one for me is I feel like there's this crowning of Anthony Edwards that he's going to be all of a sudden this amazing MVP-esque player. He hasn't been close to an MVP-esque player in his career. And I know the PR on Anthony Edwards is unbelievable. It is. But until I see it,
Hater.
Like, are we seeing that are we really thinking this Minnesota team is going to be this really, really elite top tier West team? So I don't know what their over under is. I know the expectations are that they should at least be in the Western Conference.
Expectations, they'll be a top 3 seed and they'll win 57 games like they did last year. So
and they should make it, they should win the first 2 rounds. I just think there's a recipe for disaster there. I do.
I think it's the opposite.
You think so? Unless Ant is this amazing guy. Because SGA, as much as I don't like watching him play, I think he's an amazing basketball player. Like how much better is he than Ant? I
don't think he's that much better.
So much better,
to be honest. I think Ant's so much better than him defensively. So Ant's okay. I've come around on Ant, but here's why I like the move for Minnesota. I agree with you. Cat was a perfect fit, whereas Randle, it's square peg round hole, right? I just think Randle's going to be traded at the All-Star break. He's an expiring contract. I think they did this to get out of Cat's contract to get a different player in there. The reason I think Minnesota will be just as good as they were last year is I think they're going to go small more often than they did last year. But their small is not small. It'll be Gobert at the 5. It'll be McDaniels at the 4. It'll be Na at the 3. It'll be like Dante and Ant. Like, it's still just a bunch of wings and Gobert. I think they're going to rack up wins. They got Naz Reid. I expect Naz to start, not Randle. Randle, I don't even know if he's going to be ready for the start of the season. Like, I think they'll be just stacking wins because they're so athletic and they play defense. The team, I think, is going to be, and I could be wrong on that one because it's a big gamble on like a secondary move. And as we've seen with the Warriors, you can't count on those. So when you acquire an expiring Chris Paul for optionality, but maybe that's a Warrior issue. Maybe that's not a Wolves issue. I don't know. Seems like their GM's able to get deals done. Seems nice, right? Name an NBA team that'll be worse than other things. I'm going Dallas.
Yeah, I knew you would go Dallas. I knew it.
Yeah, I know. I'm predictable. I'm full on hating. I think they will be disgusting on defense. I think they caught lightning in a bottle in the second half of last year. That's the longest stretch Kyrie has gone without missing a game since 2016. Do you think he's going to stay healthy again? Probably not.
I agree with you on Dallas, by the way. We'll let you. I agree with you. I
think Clay and Luka together on defense is going to be rough against young athletic teams with shooters. And that's like pretty much every good team in the NBA. And I don't think they're going to bench Clay because he's Klay Thompson. I think they're going to play him through this thinking it'll work over time. And I just see them losing a lot of games because they don't have defense. They do still have Luka. Luka tends to just win games with his hardened ball when he feels like it. But I don't know, man. He's coming to camp out of shape so many times.
Again,
they don't take things that seriously. And you know, they didn't get punished for it last year. Like they kind of had a mediocre start. They got super hot. They won 50 games. I would not be surprised if they're a play-in team this year.
Oh wow, play-in team is okay. I mean, you've got the hotter take than me. I just think Minnesota won't get back to where they were last year.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Minnesota was like lost in the second round or the first round of the playoffs. But I think in the regular season they will be comfortably top 3-4, whatever that record is. Like I just think they're young, they're healthy, they play defense. They have a star. They're kind of set up to win games in the regular season. So,
Dallas in the playing game is a little. Woo. I mean, I agree with you. I saw this circulating last night of Clay's defense, and I'm like, you guys know that athletes in their mid-30s don't actually get better. You do know that that is a thing. You don't actually get better. I don't care if you're even Tom Brady, Steph, LeBron. Like they were better when they were younger because that's how. The human body works. That's how Father Time works. So no, he is not going to be better defensively. Also, he was a -20. He was the worst player on the court, plus minus that game. And so I'm with you. My thing has always been when you look at these type of like worse than everyone thinks it'll be. It's always been a vibes thing to me. And to me,
yes, it's a great way to put it.
Yeah, because it's like who on these teams do you think like things just won't work out, right? When you look at the mental, and it's just like this Dallas team is just they got so many things in the fire that can just explode. And Kyrie's one of them. You pointed that out. I think people aren't. I think people just assume like Kyrie's ready. And I'm not even talking about the off the court bullshit with Kyrie. I'm talking about like health, just physical health. Like, is he gonna play 70 games? Just look at him. He hasn't. And then the Clay stuff, you're right. And then the Luka stuff. I mean, you hit on all the fucking things. and then the last piece too, I think, and maybe Ian brought it up, is they got pretty lucky with the role players last year. Pretty lucky. Like Derrick Jones Jr., awesome defensively. Najee Marshall, like, I don't know, man. Like, is he? I know the hipsters like him, but like, is he great defensely? Or is he just
the guy that they knew worked for them for a guy who might work for them? Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of like what the Giants have done with pitchers.
Honestly, they do. If you think about it, they do have a lot of Laker vibes where you're just like, look, I can't discount them because they have LeBron and AD, but they just make so many questionable decisions around them instead of sticking with what works. And the vibes are just never good. So they never like, do I want to play that team in a single elimination game? No, because they can fucking beat you. But like they're gonna throw away so many games against the Hornets and the Bobcats and every other Charlotte team. So it's to your point. It's like kind of a vibe. They do have that same type of like we'll turn it on when we feel like it vibe. With frenetic ownership,
Well, they got new ownership. I don't know who the lady is or whoever, but I don't even know if Cubans even running that thing. I got another couple teams for you, just throwing those out there. We don't have to like spend too much time on it, but the New Orleans Pelicans, I think, are an easy one to throw out there. They seem like a bit of a mess. Brandon Ingram, where is he going? Zion, is he staying healthy? He's playing center. That's weird. So I think that's one. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are an obvious one. I think you would agree on that one. It's like, they're just old, man. They're old. What the hell is going to happen with those guys? Chris Middleton, is he ready to go? And then the last
Bobby
one.
Portis looks great, though. My guy.
Dude, you love Bobby, man. It blows my mind. The Warriors could use Bobby. Stretch 5. Can they trade a contract? Similar anyway. And then the last one for me, I think it's another obvious one, is the Sixers. I mean, just ripe for. I just saw Embiid went in for another knee check. Vibes. You talk about vibes. Embiid and Paul George. Oh my god, is Maxey the best player on that team? Maybe, but he'll never get the ball.
Jared McCain is my man. My hot take is McCain will be better than Maxey in 4 years. I'm very. Jared McCain is potentially the first true Steph disciple. That's my take.
Not Reed Shepherd.
Okay, sorry. Same draft. They're both they both do the subtle nuance on off-ball stuff that Steph does, as opposed to the Trae Young, I want to do only the flashy stuff he does. They both play like guys who actually studied how Steph moves off ball, how he rotates between the two, how he uses his gravity to impact the game. I'm not saying either of them will be him, but like, you know what I mean when it looks like someone's actually doing the little things he does versus someone's like, I'm pulling up from 30 because I'm Steph, you know? Like,
Yeah.
there's a subtle difference. To be clear, I don't think either of them will ever be as good as Steph, but like, you want to talk Steph disciples, I need to see guys who do like the not highlight sexy stuff that he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's way too much Jared McCain talk on
Jared
this.
McCain. It's I thought you were gonna go another direction. I thought you were gonna say you didn't like him, but I don't know anything about him. You went to Duke or something, right?
Yeah, he's from SAC. He's from SAC.
Ah,
He's a regular at Steph's camp. He was
gotcha.
awesome in high school out here. He's a hell of a player. And he's a troll with all the crap he does. I'll put it that way. But like, he's like, I like guys who like, they don't get shook. They're comfortable shooting the ball. They like, he does it in a Gen Z way, but I can see it. We'll see. I want to ask you the reverse of this real quick. All right.
Okay.
Name an NBA team that you think will be better than everyone thinks. So you can take this in any direction, but like, who do you think people are maybe the projections are lower on than they should be?
So I think the obvious one, like kind of like what I said with the Lakers, the obvious one is the Memphis Grizzlies. I think it's just all the health stuff. They come back and Ja Morant's back, baby. Feel like it's been a couple years since we've seen Ja Morant. I mean, I like him. Fantasy basketball draft for me tonight. I'll be looking at Ja Morant. So I think that's an easy one. I think people are low on. I think the Orlando Magic is a hipster one. People never talk about the Orlando Magic because the Orlando Magic. But Franz Wagner, does he have another level? Paolo Banchero, honestly, does he have another level? That's actually the question. So I think those are the two biggies. And then I got a third one for you, and you're gonna hate it. But Phoenix Suns. What do we think about the Phoenix Suns? I just like that they're not coming into the season. You don't? I kind of like not giving the ball to Devin Booker and Bradley Beal to run the floor, right? That's a big one. The question for Tyus Jones, right, obviously is what I'm saying. The question is like, how good can they actually be defensively? The pitch here is like, these guys weren't healthy last year, right? They played no games together. I don't think they played a single game together until maybe like the All-Star break. That's kind of exaggerating, but they were good when they were on the court together. They won a lot of games. So to your point about Minnesota winning a lot of games, this team is built to win a lot of regular season games. Like KD, Devin Booker is really good. Is he a top 10 player? I think so in the league now. So I think they're just a better fit. I think they'll win a ton of games. I think they'll be top 4. Like, can we take Dallas out of the top 4 and put Phoenix in there in the regular season? I think so. So like the Suns are probably the team that I'm in on. My guy, Kevin.
So, I mean, I think they're just gonna be what they were last year. They're dangerous, but I don't expect the health to be better. I'm kind of with the projections on them. I don't feel strongly in either direction. So I'll leave it right there. The one that I think everyone is sleeping on, my guy, Big Jim in Indiana.
Oh, come on. Not Big Jim. They went to Indiana, really?
I think they're going to go. Look, I think they're better than Philly. I think they will. I think they will go to the Eastern Conference Finals again. I think they're better. I think Tyrese Halliburton might be the best player in the East.
Oh,
sorry.
Hey, man.
Behind Giannis. Wow. Forgot Giannis existed for 10 seconds. Milwaukee's been on my back burner. He might be the second best player in the East, though. He might be. He's better than everyone on the Celtics. He wasn't healthy, and he still got them to the Eastern Conference Finals. He wasn't healthy the entire run with the hamstring, and he got him there. You know they're going to have good vibes because he's a likable teammate. You know who wasn't complaining about not getting minutes all Team USA and just happy to be there? Tyrese Halliburton. I'm the Siakam guy. I don't know, dude. They have a fuck ton of shooting around a top 3 to 5 playmaker, and an all-star who can finish inside, and every one of their players getting better. I like Nemby too. He's good. I think that, they're going to score a ton. They're probably not going to guard, but
That's
I
the
think
question.
I don't know why they would be worse than they were last year. There's nothing on their team that is trending downward. They didn't even get Siakam till midseason. And really what my take is most of the East is frauds. And I think they're going to go Philly's a fraud until proven otherwise. The Knicks are not frauds, but come on, man. Cat's not a playoff guy. OG Anunoby, show me you can play 55 games once. Jalen Brunson, amazing player. I would not be surprised if Tibbs killed him this year. It was like over. Josh Hart, I don't know. Like, I could see the Knicks going.
Bridges.
I could see the Knicks. Everyone's going to be talking about the Knicks, the Sixers, and the Celtics. And I get it. Star power. Celtics will be good. There's no reason the Celtics should really see much of a drop off. They'll still be top 3 in the East, probably the top seed. Philly will win games, but they're on fraud watch until proven otherwise. The Knicks, I don't know. I just kind of worry about the health with them. I'm
high on the Knicks.
I love the fit of everything on paper, but I'm just telling you, when that playoff series comes and OG's hamstring means he can't play and Josh Hart's dead, and they got Karl Anthony Towns trying to guard Halliburton, Siakam pick and rolls. Do not say I didn't tell you so.
Here's my thing. Your take is revolving around Tyrese Halliburton being that guy, and I think that's where the argument falls apart. I agree with you on the East, though I am high on the Knicks. I think like probably everyone else because they're the Knicks, and I'm probably my number 1 league pass team, honestly. But I think it falls apart with Halliburton, who I really like, but I gotta see it before I believe it. And I'm with you on the vibe stuff. But dude, he had that hammy for like 6 months, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't reflect well.
Don't play.
Doesn't really reflect well on their training staff. Not gonna lie.
Or him.
Just sit him, man.
Yeah, just sit him. Or him. If you cannot blame the hammy for you playing poorly. You sat, or if you come back, go play. If you're back, go play. If you're hurt, go sit 2 months. And I know he sat for a fair amount of time, but it's like you cannot, like, that's the thing, right? So that's what my thing with Halliburton is, like, if your game is predicated on him being this insanely quick twitch point guard
Steve
that can
Nash,
get everywhere on the floor, and he is, I love him. I actually love him, but I cannot be sold on him being this top tier elite guy if he had a hamstring injury that he essentially blamed his poor play on for 6 months. And so that's the thing for me, but I'll be rooting for him. I thought you were going to give me the Andrew Nembhard is better than Halliburton take, but maybe we'll save that for 3 months from now.
Hey, if that hammy is an issue for 6 months, I might pivot to that take. So I'm a big Halliburton guy. I think I'm just looking at it. And the other thing I'm a big fan of is Rick Carlisle is the second best coach in the East. Spo's the best. I'm taking Carlisle.
Joe Maz?
I like Joe Maz. I think he's underrated, but I'm taking Carlisle over him. I like what they're doing. I think they're a little slept on. I'm in. My Pacers, League Pass. We'll be watching.
You can't lose that argument because the East is.
I don't believe in Tibbs with the Knicks. I think he's gonna destroy them physically. He has the perfect starting five, like in terms of like on paper, the fit's perfect, right? And they kind of don't have any bench players. And I've seen this song and dance with Tibbs.
Tibbs a horrible human. He will kill. I'm saying that joking. I'm saying that jokingly, but like Mikal Bridges. Hey, you're an Iron Man, buddy. You are not. You will not be an Iron. You will not see that contract through with the Knicks. I guarantee you that.
Hey, sign that extension right now.
Right now. Do not do what Brunson did, because you ain't getting that fucking money, buddy.
Brunson gonna be on. Yeah.
Brunson daddy will get him the money. That's good living. All right, we're out.
Appreciate everyone. We'll be here Sunday night after.